Hey guys, welcome back to Behind the Witch's Veil and Within the Cauldron. I'm Nico, and we have our co-hosts Amy and Chrissy, and we have our special guest here, Daniel Williams of the Wrangler Phenomenon, the UFO, UAP, and Cryptids groups.
Yep.
Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me.
Well, I appreciate your group. I found your group on Facebook. I'm like, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
I got into it. It's a nice group.
Yeah.
Nice and clean, no spam or anything, and
Exactly.
I enjoy it. Enjoy it a
Yeah.
lot.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm
I
trying to
may
get
not
a.
speak much on it because I'm more or less I'm going to get people on podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
you
She's
guys
our
are
she's
on the
our big
podcast,
wrangler.
or you guys are on the group, so you can support your podcast and put it up. And
Yeah.
anytime you have something else going on, and conferences or whatnot,
yeah.
jump on and let us know. We're here to kind of support the whole cryptid community, and then the UAP, UFO, which ended up being a big thing. So we started that only 2 weeks ago. And then the paranormal, we've had that for probably 4 months now. And then the Cryptid Wrangler, we had that, it's been about a year and 9 months now. So that one just through the roof. Do you
I
want
love
to
the
say?
name.
Oh,
It's a
thank
very
you.
catchy name. Like that's one thing, you have to find like a really good name. So
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I have a buddy of mine. You might not know him, but Shane Crisp, and he's the one that kind of got me into doing the podcasting and stuff. And he goes, "Hey, man, I think you should be the Cryptid Wrangler since you used to rodeo." And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah.
"Oh, okay," and it stuck. So,
that
so
is that is really awesome. How now we was talking before the show, and did hear you say you was like 13 when you started doing this?
yeah, for paranormal, yes. So I
Wow.
started 13, so I'm 51 this year. Um, and it was just started me seeing the apparitions and me speaking to my grandmother. She said, "Yep, you got it." And I couldn't understand what was. So she explained it to me, and her mother was a French war bride, and so she had it too. But she would also go out and do paranormal meetings and stuff like that too. But back before World War II. So
Wow.
It's very intriguing.
thank
Very
you.
intriguing.
One of my first paranormal experiences was with an older lady. So
That's another one that I have trouble with the um, haunted sounds like out here in Black Star Canyon. You can hear old rifles go off at night,
Mhm.
and that's
Wow.
you can't even remotely take a gun in there. It's just so guarded. So, but they're letting all the other things in too, like the UFOs and
yeah.
UAPs. So yeah,
So I
but I've
have
been
to ask you,
sure.
have you ever seen a cryptid?
No. Well, yes, I have, and no, I haven't. I have a friend of mine who has a picture of a dog man and actually a Sasquatch right behind it. But then I had a picture of a full view of a dog man all the way from the head, the top of the ears, all the way down to the knees.
Mhm.
So that dog man that you see werewolf, not even remotely close to what I saw. So it made me even think that maybe I saw something else other than a dog man. So,
Hmm.
but I look at the pictures now and you can start to see the little tufts at the end of the ears. And so more and more people are doing the research on cryptids. So kind of got into it.
Yeah.
I got into it by Ronnie LeBlanc from
Yeah.
Expedition Bigfoot. He and I have been friends for a while. And uh, I met him at a conference. We talked for like 2.5 hours. And he's like, "Man, you need to do this. You need to jump down that rabbit hole. Just do it. Just go."
Yeah.
I went home, started a podcast group, and all this other stuff too. So but he's been a real cool guy. So interesting. So
That's very intriguing. Have you had any experiences with like UFOs or aliens or
no,
anything?
no, and that was why I did that group last. Or we have two more that we're gonna do, but basically I did that last because I didn't know anybody that had an experience with the
Mm.
UFOs. We had the UAPs over our house here in Mission Viejo, and all over. But other than that, I slept through it. So
I've had like experiences with like a present around me. Like I knew something was coming, and then like it didn't feel like of this world. But I've never
yes,
like seen a UFO.
yeah, that's kind of one of the things where I'm okay with not seeing the UFOs and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And that's where Michael, uh, he said I've got experience with reptilians, and I'm like, sold. Here you go. Group starts with Wrangler. Put whatever you want from there. And so we made it a Wrangler groups. So it's been fun. It's been rough. We started out with the Cryptid Wrangler for a year. I had 600 people in the group, and it's most of the big guys that are in the Cryptid. And so basically I have to have a neck surgery and spinal fusion, and I've already had my back done. And I
Yeah.
thought, with ADD, I cannot sit around at home doing nothing all day. So basically I just went, all right, well, I'll just put starting content on the Cryptid Wrangler. And we went from 600 to 29,000 in about 5 months. Yeah, a thousand. We had
Crazy.
800 to 1,000 new members every day, Monday through Friday, or actually no, Monday through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday too. So, but it's been great. I mean, my friends keep asking me, "How do you keep doing this stupid cryptid and paranormal stuff?" Because I love it. It's one of those things. It's you don't want to be that close to it, but you gotta love it a little bit.
It's like a healthy respect for it.
Yeah,
And so
It's
exactly.
fascinating.
yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
and
people
it's
are
just been
intrigued, and people who have had experiences, like what I was telling you earlier, they feel less alone. They feel like it's a safe space, like-minded people, so they can all
yeah,
like come together, which
Yeah.
is
and that's what we kind of do with the Cryptid Wrangler group. Once we started getting that many people, and we had so many good, just incredible, great people, and we just kept growing, and we stopped it at 29,000. And so, you know, we offer counseling for people that have had run-ins with cryptids, paranormal, everything. I've got two other counselors that work with me, and they've actually done a couple of things where they've
I feel like
go ahead.
people also have like a lot of like paranormal trauma, even probably in that field.
Yeah.
So I think that's very like important to get counseling and all that stuff too.
Well, and the fact that a lot of people don't come forward because they're afraid to lose their job, they're afraid to lose their kids, their family, because somebody had said, "Oh, you saw Bigfoot," and you said yes, and it just became this huge thing. So we made sure that our group was people that are going to follow the rules, enjoy it, and with ADD, you can be a normal Facebook group, but I challenge it. I want to do things that are different from what everybody else is doing. And so that was part of the whole ending up with, you know, almost 30,000 people in 5 months. So but we offer counseling. We've started two classes. One is basically you can learn from the Facebook page. We'll ask questions and stuff like that. And then what I've done is a independent research group, which is outside of Facebook with Michael and Larry Luttrell and Cindy Sapp, you might know. She's actually asked to put her as admin in the other two new groups, which was great. And I appreciate that. It's a lot of work. I'm up at
That
2 in the morning, and I go to work at 7:30 or 8, and then I have
wow.
yeah, so and a book and a documentary coming up. So I love being busy.
Yeah, Cindy is coming on the 26th, I do believe.
Good, good.
So yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
she's a
be
sweetheart.
talking to her. Yeah, we'll be talking to her.
Yeah,
Um, too. It's amazing that once you join groups like yours or any, some specialty group, I would
mhm,
say that you get to meet some very interesting people. You really
yeah,
do. And that is so great because I know just being on your group, I mean, I met Michael and,
yeah.
there's Cindy and I met a few others, Carissa,
Carissa's
so
great.
it's really awesome. I really like it because it's all network of friends that you have something in common with.
Yeah,
And of course, any chance I can get somebody on a podcast to talk,
yeah. No,
I'm
I don't
there.
blame you. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy to coordinate schedules with somebody, and
Hmm.
me being from California, and like you guys are 2 hours ahead of me,
Yeah.
so it's not even easy to try to schedule something with anybody that's back east.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but
It
that's where
is.
all the conferences are. That's where all the sightings are, the research areas, all this
No.
stuff. And I'm stuck in Mission Viejo.
Well, we're stuck in the Midwest, so
Oh
nothing really
yeah.
happens in the Midwest. So unless,
Actually, there is.
oh,
That
there
was the
is.
really surprising thing. So I'm in Nebraska, and we have a Bigfoot museum.
Cool. Yeah.
And not only do we have a Bigfoot museum, um, there's Bigfoot sightings all the way out here too, which
Yeah.
was really, really surprising because I thought that it was a like southern thing, like southern and coastal.
Yeah.
And we did a podcast a while ago talking about cryptids, and of course we had to talk about Bigfoot. And I found out that we had sightings in Iowa. There's sightings through Michigan. That there were sightings here in Nebraska as of what, like 3 or 4 years ago. That
Probably less, but not that many people come forward because they're afraid that they're going to get, ridiculed and whatnot. And that's why we made the safe group. We get more stories, more people are comfortable with everybody else. We've got, 4 or 5 people that are looking for trolls every day over and over, which I appreciate them for doing that too. Uh, but Michael and Larry Luttrell, uh, both great guys, and I've got Larry running Cryptid Wrangler and doing the teaching, the second teaching part of the independent research groups. Just we're just kind of getting into so many things. It's fun to keep everything alive and then be friends with everybody, the UFOs and UAPs and stuff. But for Sasquatch and Dogman, they are in every state except for Hawaii. And they are in every country except for Antarctica and, gosh, what was that? I think it was just Antarctica. But there have been sightings. My book is about the cynocephaly. And basically, it's all the way back to antiquity, all the way to where they talk about these dog-headed people, which that's what cynocephaly means. Dog-headed people. Christopher Columbus has seen them. Marco Polo, Alexander the Great, um, Tasius, which was a Greek physician. 4,000 years, it's been dated back to rock drawings that are on a wall. Um, and people started asking questions, but it goes back probably 7, 8,000 years. So it's not really a big surprise that people are seeing them because they've just been here.
I have a question. Do you
Sure.
believe that they like travel through like dimensions? And that's why
Yes, it is.
people can sometimes people see them and they just, they're gone.
Exactly. And that has divided our community like you would not believe.
Yeah.
You have the people that say flesh and blood, and you have the others that are saying, no, 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 this is interdimensional being.
Yeah.
I've had people that are as close as my family um, say, hey, we were in the LBL. We saw an orange, or no, purplish pink cloud of mist, and
Mhm.
something stepped out of it. I would trust these guys with my life.
Yeah.
So if they saw it, they saw it. And I wouldn't put it past them. And I do say that, hey, we're going to do split, you know, people are going to either like it, flesh and blood, or they're going to have to get used to it with the dimensions too. So, yeah.
Nico and I have talked about in the past where a lot of people believe that if you have a certain blood type, you have more experiences with like aliens and everything
Yep.
else. You're
RH negative.
yeah,
Mhm.
that you're of the right, you know.
Hmm.
I think
And as
I've heard
they
that.
believe that goes back to the bloodline of the Nephilim in the Bible. And they're the angels that came down and had children with earth women. And so some of them still do have these telekinesis and, you know, different, they call them mind voices, which
Yeah.
is kind of new to me. But there is, you can get a message from one and another, and there's two different voices. I didn't know what to believe about that, but a couple of guys, they do it. They know it.
I am of RH negative. I'm O negative.
Oh, wow.
And I think Nico, you are too, right?
Yep.
Oh, you
And
both are.
both
Wow.
have abilities. And a
Yeah.
lot of people say that people who have that blood type do have some type of abilities.
Yeah. That's the RH negative. And that's another one of those things that people, you know, flesh and blood, well, it can't be a Nephilim if it's flesh and blood. But I almost set up a podcast between the two of us, me being in the middle. And then you have the guys that are on the flesh and blood, and then you have the other guys that were, you know, basically interdimensional.
Mhm.
And we were going to go back and forth instead of yelling and screaming at each other like everybody
Mhm.
else seems to do. We said, hey, time out. This is a closed podcast. You have to be invited to be here.
Mhm.
And to be here, you have to choose a side so that I can stay in the middle so that I can say, you know, if it comes down to yelling, hey, let him finish, or, you know,
Mhm.
let her finish. Just be, it has to be like a court setting. And it's sad.
It's almost like a
Divided.
rape dick situation.
Yeah. Well, it
Yeah.
divides families. I mean,
Mhm.
the son is in one of my groups, and he said, there's no way you're going to talk me into interdimensional. And I said, Uh, if you're some sort of interested in cryptids, join the group, put what you want.
Mhm.
Um, and we were still working on that, but we had one of the people that we had basically that was going to do that close podcast.
Hmm.
We haven't heard back, so it's kind of in the air and interesting. But I think it's interdimensional. I'd have to go with that, especially since I've heard so many people say it.
I think it's I think it definitely is because I would explain everything, you know, and all
Yeah.
the arguments I've heard because I've always been about it. I've always been like interested in the paranormal, and I watch a lot of the shows and everything, and I talk to other people who have interest in it, and that's what they all do. Is that's the only way we would explain everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to have something, some part of it in it for it to be kept on this long.
Mhm.
There's obviously got to be some portion to it, whether, and I heard somebody say the other day that you see orbs because it's a Sasquatch running the opposite direction. So
Yeah,
basically, what the government does to us, it's, you know, hey, this is over
I
here.
also
You
believe
forgot this.
you
Yeah.
probably agree with me on this. If they did caught like a Bigfoot or Dogman or Catwoman, you know, there's so many. We could do a list, Mothman, all of.
Mhm. Yeah.
If they really caught one, would they tell us? You know, because there might be like, just like with the aliens, you know, it's panic.
Exactly. And that is another huge thing that most of us have been talking about. It's got to be coming up. And when we heard that there was going to be another coronavirus, we thought, okay, this is when it's going to happen, because they waited 50 years,
Hmm.
before they said anything. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, we knew about it.
Yeah.
We knew about it just as long, I'm sure.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's the same thing with, Sasquatch. The other day I heard somebody said that orb, it came down and it was a Sasquatch. That
Yeah.
I've heard once, but taking reports for cryptids and stuff like that, for the past, I think, 7 years now, you get just about everything.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's really incredible.
That's really cool. I think it'd be really interesting to go like investigate like overnight in like a hot spot. I think that'd be really cool.
Well, actually, for the documentary that we're filming the week before CryptidCon,
Mhm.
I'm going with another researcher, which Paul Chafin is amazing. The guy gets incredible pictures of them basically cloned, or not cloned, cloaking, and you can just see it kind of shimmer outer border, I guess.
Yeah.
So he and I are going to go down to the Daniel Boone, and we're going to be there 3 days and 3 nights, and that is one of the most dogman infested places next to the LBO.
It's gonna be really intriguing. I
Yeah,
can't wait
yeah.
to see everything.
yeah. So yeah, but things are good. I feel good about where things are going and starting other groups, and um, just the research alone is what gets me up at 2 in the morning. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Oh yeah. I love a good rabbit hole.
yeah. And it's between the groups, and the documentaries, the book, everything. It's kind of a whirlwind, but that's what I like the most about it. So
So, what is your favorite cryptid?
it would end up having to be Dogman, because I've been in so many groups of North American Dogman Project, and Paul Chafin. His is Kentucky Dogman Project. So a lot of the research and stuff is stemmed from that. Um, West Coast Dogman Project. In fact, I think I have the shirt on. Um, and that's one of the only things that is out here
Mhm.
that is, besides the border, that is just getting apparently demolished with Dogman and Sasquatch.
I think
So
I think Dogman is definitely like intriguing.
yeah,
But I've
it's
always like I used to run in the woods as a child all the time because that's what we did in like the 90s. We were never
yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
But I've always had like dreams of running with like dog-like creatures when I was a small child. So I've always been like
Really,
fascinated with that.
yeah. And I love wolves, and in fact, it was kind of crazy. I think it was beginning of January, and I had been working a lot, and I came home, went to sleep, and it was 5:30, 6 in the morning, and I had this horrible dream of a dog man that's probably 6 inches from my face and drooling, um, that close, and that freaked me out. What scared me was when I woke up that fast, I heard bipedal feet
Mhm.
running towards from my living room to the front door.
That's
Mhm.
really
Yeah, and I had
Oh,
actual drool marks on my arms
yeah.
from holding it.
Do you feel like you being interested in it like kind of like created like you to be more like vulnerable to like that
I hope
interaction?
so. I don't want to attract them any other way.
I I'm definitely someone who believes in like, if you believe in something, it opens you up to it more. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yep.
And we call that marked
yeah.
in the cryptid field. If you run into a Sasquatch, be prepared. You're going to run into about everything else too.
I've even
Uh,
heard that with aliens, once you have one encounter, you're gonna have multiple for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah. And it's with all the fields too. It's on,
Yeah.
paranormal, UAP, all that stuff. It's in all of them.
You're kind of like
So
the lighthouse.
really, yeah, it's interesting, really interesting. So, but it keeps it. We get little teeny bites here and there every once in a while on something that we'll catch from a report or some of us talking, comparing reports and stuff like that. But people say Dogman isn't real, and I said I've got 7,000 years worth of cynocephaly that are people with basically a human body and a dog head. They they've been seen by most of the world explorers. The Piri Reis map is one that is you could actually see a picture of a dogman fighting a Sasquatch, or what we think is a Sasquatch. Um, but it's busy, but I like the keeping busy part of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you believe there's more out there that we haven't discovered?
oh,
Mhm.
definitely, yeah. And in fact, I've had people tell me that they're like, hey, if you knew what was really out there in those woods, nobody would ever leave their house.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that it was special forces, so that was kind of scary. I'm
Yeah.
Oh
just
yeah.
glad I lived near the beach and stuff. While I lived behind where they just had that airport fire,
Hmm.
and so we thought that destroyed the habitat because that's where Black Star was.
Oh yeah.
But it ended up making it. It made it through. So,
That's good.
but yeah,
It's
a
really
lot of things going on back there.
so have you written a book? Is that what you were talking about?
In the middle of one. Yep,
You're
and that is just about the history of Dogman. People don't think that it can be in the Bible because it was too far. Dogman was made up by a radio DJ host that was talking about a song that people kept calling the Dogman song. That's how that got the name. And then Linda Godfrey, she's the one that basically kept it. Well, I guess they were calling werewolves back then, but it ended up being where it was. Everybody's calling it Dogman, and people are freaked. Why would you even call something a dog man? Well, if you see it, let me know. I'll tell you why. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. It's even scarier when you see a picture of a real one that has not been debunked. Now, the government, if you put up, and people have put up, a really great Sasquatch or Dogman. Oh gosh, what do I say? Um, there goes my thought. Um, oh shoot, I totally forgot what I was going to say. But what was your question again? Maybe that'll tip me off. Good.
With the book.
Amy?
Write a book.
Oh, I was just intrigued about your book. Do you know when you will be releasing it? Do you
Oh,
have
it's probably going to be the first of next year.
let
So,
us know because I would definitely buy it. I'm definitely
oh,
interested.
definitely. I'm
And
pretty sure
we
I'll
can
send you guys
also
some.
give you guys like a shout out about the book and stuff because we
Oh yeah.
also do like a book club too. So
Hmm.
Oh, really? How cool. That's even better. Well, make sure you guys go to the paranormal group, the Wrangler Paranormal group, because I get 3 guys doing it, but I'm saying, hey, if anybody comes in with any paranormal groups, teams, whatever, you let them, go ahead and put it out there in your podcasts and all this stuff that everybody works on. So, and we work on it. It's not easy to do all this stuff all the time. So,
No, it's a lot of. uh, I've done folklore research, and sitting in a folklore society library for 2 weeks,
yeah,
looking
yeah,
through they don't scan everything either, um, which so you're going through physical boxes of logs and pamphlets and audio and video, and oh my god, I love it, but also it's
yeah.
awful.
Well, and that's the thing too is we have people that come into the cryptid group and they say, "Oh well, I read that this was only in this area." Well, as you know, with Sasquatch, California, from the border all the way up to Washington, are all those sightings. In fact, the Olympic Project is out there, and they found these huge nests that these Sasquatch were having, youngers, and so it's got to be something close to that. And then you got the Expedition Bigfoot people. They went up there looking for the same thing, the nests, and they found them too. So yeah, so they do nesting. So, but yeah,
That is, I come over here now.
yeah, sure.
That is so cool. Because if you're gonna write a book, all it's research. It's a lot of research, and
Yep.
looks like you're doing a lot of research and
Yeah.
everything.
It all sounds really intriguing,
Um,
though.
yeah, it does. Sounds really intriguing. Um, for the audience, because I know there's a lot of TV shows out there. Are they truth or not? You know,
They are truth,
you think
but
all of them is truth? Okay, because
the
just
Sasquatch, yes,
yeah,
big
because
Dogman.
I feel
They've
like
already approached them and said, "Hey, we want to do this, show on this Dogman," and
yeah,
they said, Discovery said no. They went back to him and said, "Why not?" And they said, "We don't need to scare people. We want them to come and see this stuff." And he said, "They're not even real." Well, if it was real and this didn't happen, it's two completely different sides.
I feel like
So
with anybody who's had an experience with the paranormal or with CRISPR, it's like it's a way for the TV shows. Like it's made me feel less alone. And I feel like a lot of people have felt like less alone with like the Bigfoot stuff I've seen with the different experiences, and people you can hear the fear in some people's voices,
oh
like
yeah.
Yeah.
completely.
And
So
all of those guys are just incredible people. I've
yeah,
gotten to be friends with them, and every single one of them is brings their own something to the table, where it's
I agree.
you've like the folklore, with basically Ronnie had his book, um, of stuff that he had gotten, and then stuff that he had heard along the way. Um, Dr. Meyer or Mayer, she's got all the primatology behind her. And gosh, I feel stupid because I forgot his name.
Yeah, it
um,
happens.
yes, it's like
I
I
have
had it.
the spacing out sometimes too. I
Oh,
forget names.
yeah. Well, Russell, he can go miles. I don't know how he does it, but they asked, "Well, you should be on the show." I'm like, no, no, I don't like walking a mile. I'm not gonna run, 10 just to to make it to a cliff.
And then you might
So
have to book it if it's connected to you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things out there that
Or
people
unexplainable.
have tried and brought to Discovery Channel and said, "Hey, this is coming up," and
Mhm.
they say no, nope, we won't fund it. So when Expedition Bigfoot, they took them on. That was a huge thing.
Mhm.
So
Do you feel like a lot of like the paranormal shows and shows about Bigfoot and everything, it's getting less and less?
no, more and more. In fact, I'm taking almost 3 times the amount of reports I've been taking over the past, or actually last year and this year. Before that, I would get maybe a report a week.
Yeah,
Now, we're getting 5, 6. In fact, that's one of the things I gotta approach Michael and Larry on, because I can't do it all. So
Yeah.
a little help would be cool.
I feel like a
So
lot of more people with like like a community you've created and a community that Nico and I are creating. Really, I feel like a lot of more people are more comfortable coming forward now because they feel
yeah,
listened to.
most
Well, there's a lot of
definitely.
factors. The age of technology, everybody has a camera on them,
Yep.
Mhm.
and you have that, and then not only communities like the ones that we're working on, but there's conventions, and you have um, all of this literature, and there's so many places for people to get the idea, and for paranormal too. Where do you know how easy it is to buy paranormal equipment now? Like you don't have to make it.
No,
Like
no, and
you
it's
used
all
to
on
have to be a
Amazon.
DIY. Yeah, you used to have a DIY like engineering degree, and you're in your basement
Yeah,
soldering boards together.
yeah.
And now
No,
we
I
have.
had all that stuff, but I had to make it too. So
Mhm.
yeah, was a while.
Quick question: what is like the best evidence you have seen of dogmen or Bigfoot?
That has to be. And in fact, I meant to tell you this. Yes and no. I'm trying to think of how to say it. Um, Gosh, the government is not gonna let you put up something like Bigfoot or Dogman. If you post a real picture, they'll take you down in minutes. So the government has what do they call them? Misinformation agents. And they're the ones that sign on to podcasts like, yours and make you look like you don't know what you're talking about or you're crazy and if you continue on down that road, I've gotten 2 phone calls saying, hey, if you were smart, you wouldn't do this anymore. And I
Yeah,
knew it was before because they had offered me $50 an hour.
I've
So,
heard people like who reported like their experiences with like UFOs and stuff like that. That they've got calls from the government asking them to stop or
yeah.
else. So
And that's even worse than AI is
making
not being able to show what somebody else has seen except by words or pictures. And even then, it could be on one side of the spectrum, and where it's more werewolf than it is German Shepherd headed dog.
Mhm.
Um, so when we get a lot of problems from trolls, and I'm sure you guys do too, about yeah, is that what it really looks like? And you say, no, it's got this and this. And they said, oh, you're lying. And they were gone, which is crummy. But we have a tough time keeping people in the, like you had said, like minded. Um,
Mhm.
so, and then you've got families that the son is flesh and blood, and the father is, interdimensional
I
or, telekinesis, stuff like that. So,
I've had experiences where people just told me it was my imagination and stuff like
yeah.
that.
And we're conditioned to learn like that as we're growing up. What do you do? Hey, mom, dad, I think I see a ghost. Ghosts aren't real. Well,
Mhm.
they are. You know, it's the same thing with cryptids. There are people out there seeing it, and in every country all over the world, and basically they're describing the exact same thing. I guarantee none of them know each other, so it's got to be something right, with this. I mean, to the teeth on Dogman. They have two canines up above and below on all four. So that is a big maybe. Well, it's out there, but people won't believe it, or people have seen it and dealt with it. So it's hard to keep people very long in this. You
I've
know, just
Because Nico and I are on TikTok too, and we've
oh yeah,
seen videos of people like bringing him up evidence about Catwoman. I think Nico remembers that. There was like
yeah,
for a while that was all you heard on TikTok was about
yeah.
Catwoman. And there's also I've seen some stuff about like Dogman and stuff like that on it
I've
too.
seen some trucker reports of dogmen from. There's
Manistee,
mhm, a
Joe
legend that
Barger.
mhm,
Yeah,
that
Joe.
trucks will break down after sighting a dogman.
Uh,
That's a very big thing. So a lot of the truckers look out for dog-like things on the side of the road.
well, Joe Barger was the first one that really waited, and he held off, didn't say anything because he was warned. And then eventually, I think it was like 6 years down the road, it was last year that he had started mentioning something about it. And he said, I don't care what the government does and blah, blah, blah. That didn't go so well for him, but that is basically field researcher in cryptids. You know, you just got to get out there. You got to do it. You have to go with the leads, like he had given. Okay, well, he shot it. It went, killed it, rolled down the street. But when he came back around to make sure that nobody was going to get hurt by that thing, and he had shot it, it was gone. So, but he was driving that big truck. He went up, made a U-turn. By the time he had come up, did a U-turn, come back down to see where it was at. Another car was there. And he said, I see the blood. I see all this. Where the heck is it? And they said, oh, somebody in a truck just picked it up and threw it in the back of the truck and bailed. So, he really got in deep for his first time. So, and but no, if you talk to him, his story is never changes.
Yeah.
He has a tough time saying it. Those are the things you start to look for.
You can
That's
feel the emotion
real.
when they tell their story.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
For me,
And
that's
it's sad that we can't have more people doing this to combat. They're all out there to kill you. They're not. 99% of them want to scare you. They'll turn around. They'll walk away. They'll turn back and smile at you and walk away. No, there have been, not murders, but there have been people that have died. But it's not at all the same numbers on either side. So yeah, scary, but
I think
you know,
anything unknown is scary to people,
yeah,
So,
oh yeah. And so for so long with paranormal too, you get, hey, you want to come on, do an investigation? No, I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian too. I was thrown into it, and I still did the work behind it to understand it, so that when time comes, you explain it to somebody, you know exactly what you're going to say, or pictures or whatnot. But as you know, the pictures are blurry, and we think that has something to do with. Personally, I think my theory is it has something to do with three-dimensional world versus 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So we think that. I think that I can't say that there is a door and then a space and then a door. And basically you're on this side, 3D, 4D, and 5D. So it has something to do with frequencies too. Frequencies, it's got timing is another thing. And portals don't always open up in the exact same place. So you'd have to search for one that's going to be in the same place every time to get any information off of it. So yeah, it's hard, but it's rewarding. I mean, for all of us, and we're spending the money to go out there and do this stuff, podcasts and whatnot. So
It's fascinating.
it's real. It's really real, unfortunately, but
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So you guys do a lot of you just podcasts, or you guys do researching for paranormal too?
I'm starting to. I had a really bad traumatic experience with the paranormal, so I'm just dipping my toes back in right now. And Nico knows. Nico, I don't need much more to Nico.
I used to work with a local paranormal group as one of their sensitives, so I would go in and do the spiritual sweep and give my impressions.
Yeah.
And then later on started doing cleansings of paranormal situations
Yeah.
with a few friends, and I did that for about 10 years. And then over the years, I've met different paranormal photographers, things like that, that are in the area. Like I said, I'm in Nebraska. We have a lot of haunted locations,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like, as far as like in the Midwest, like Nebraska is probably one of the most haunted states.
Yeah. I would say it's got to be pretty close. I've heard a ton of stuff. That, and Indiana's another place.
Yep.
And California, but farther up. But
Mm.
yeah, no, there's a lot of places around here everywhere, and I feel like that veil is thinning.
Mhm. I
We're
agree.
getting, oh yeah,
I've said
from
that the I think that the veil's not only thinning, but that there's more people having experiences in general, and I don't. There's a lot of theories on why, but that there's kind of a consensus that more people are coming forward with experiences of all sorts,
yeah,
and the I've seen some damning evidence for all
oh
kinds
yeah,
of things.
yeah,
Um, I met a guy who he did a paranormal investigation at Squirrel Cage Jail, which is
oh,
a big tower. It's a circular prison that's pie shaped, and it was
oh
built in
really?
the 1800s, and
Oh,
it's manually operated by crank. It's been since turned into a historical museum,
good.
but he did this paranormal investigation through there, and you can see one of the wardens full body apparition through the bars,
Wow,
and I'm sitting there like it was an astonishing photo, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god.
yeah,
Um, but my what is my fourth great grandfather was the warden of that jail.
no kidding.
Yeah, it was really really cool,
Oh my
and
gosh.
it was one of those where it's like, yeah, like I know it's haunted, and like my ancestor was one of the wardens that worked there, and
So
then
that would get you in,
hmm
basically.
yeah,
Get more feelings and stuff from that.
hmm
Oh, cool.
and we had a thing where we were sharing back and forth where we were talking about the week before I had gotten a really good photo of some kind of like I don't know psychopomp something along those lines.
Yeah,
I worked at a senior center, and one
that's
of
another one.
the residents was talking, or the my coworkers was like, "There's this face I saw when I came in from the employee parking lot up on the second floor. Can you go look in the room and see what's going on?" And I was the custodian, totally my job. I go up there and there's this face in the glass. We're
Kidding.
second story. It's in between the two layers of the glass. This window's like 7 foot up, like
Jeez.
the towards the top of the window, and it's like I can't clean it. Like it's clear, like somebody pressed their face against the glass with like a hand
Yeah,
over their mouth, and I'm sitting there like I can't get this off of the glass.
yeah.
But
Ugh, that's
from the
scary.
parking lot, you can see like a 7 foot tall person standing in the room, but you go in the room, it's empty.
Yeah, yeah. Those are one of the ones I think I'll let the investigator go do that
Mhm. Oh, that place
because you
was
you see some crazy stuff through glass,
for a place
especially
that was only 20 years old. That place is so
yeah.
damn haunted.
Oh, yeah. And when
We had
when you can
protocol.
start to feel yeah,
Yeah, we had
like
protocol for when people passed away because we didn't want more ghosts.
yeah, oh yeah, and they just get stronger,
Mhm.
just coming
Oh,
to the
yeah.
veil and but yeah, there's been a lot of claims recently on a lot of really cool paranormal
Mhm.
places,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
5 years ago you would never heard anything,
Mhm.
but now since it's getting out there a little bit more. You get people that are interested in it, and then you have the people that are interested in it but don't want to know about it, so don't talk to them. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's kind of
I've met people like that.
yeah, yeah. Well, my
Right.
parents were Christian, and that's why I had to go to my grandmother's to ask her for, what is this? Because if I took
Mhm.
it to my parents, I'd probably be, I don't know, some camp, the camps they have for the bad kids, something like that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
oh,
I've
yeah.
had to keep a lot of my experiences silent, so I know what you mean.
Do you write them down?
I have not written them down. I thought about writing a book of like a child growing up, with abilities
Yeah.
and experiences, and because I've dealt with, the pagan community, I've lived in different states and had different experiences, and but now, like as an adult, I know how to like block myself off now. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like
That's what
silent.
I ended up having to do because it just every corner you go around, even if something's not there, you feel like
Well,
something's going to jump at you.
with my last experience, I had my baby next to me, and
Mm,
now I'm just like, I just have to block myself off so they won't come to me right now.
yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah. And some of those situations, they're deep. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, it's the power goes as the years go on. You know, they seem to get stronger.
But it wasn't like even just like a sighting; it was like a physical attack on me. So
Ooh, yeah.
I'm just like, with my small child, I can't do that right now.
Ooh, yeah. No, I don't blame you. And that was I had gotten to the point in paranormal where it was just like one of those things that is always there. Um, and I kind of got burnt out on it because there wasn't much big changes in it, and that's when I went to cryptids and a
I
whole
feel
new
like it's a
community.
way to like mix it up though, so you don't get bored. So if it's
Oh yeah,
something you're interested in the future, you can revisit it. If not, that's fine too. Like,
yeah,
I'm interested in both. Like, my dad has raised me on like all of it.
yeah,
We used to binge watch all the evidence. He's like, "Did you see that?" You know?
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, I've got a buddy that did the same thing with taps, and the guy has more stories than I do, you know. So he
Oh
was
yeah.
actually the one that told me that there were 8 to 10 different Bigfoot he had seen in Black Star,
Yeah.
just
Wow.
Black Star alone. So yeah,
I
he
think
used to do the haunted tours there and would say, "Hey, this is this," and he would go through and he would end up seeing him late at night. So it's a good guy.
that's really
Uh,
cool.
yeah. So,
Well,
and
we
yeah,
um we're at the almost the top of the hour
okay,
here. I
no
just
problem.
want to say, Daniel, though,
Mhm.
interesting. Always interesting.
Thanks.
Definitely you have to come back on when
Sure.
we get some friends that we have that's cryptids and
Yeah.
paranormal and
We want to
UFO.
get people who also have like who have experienced
Yeah,
it and witnessed it.
Mhm.
yeah,
Come
Oh
on,
yeah.
you
yeah,
can come
Yeah.
on to them
yeah.
about it
To
too.
have a big I guess you could say showdown or something,
Yeah.
all of us talk about it and
Have a
everything.
share. Yeah. Just have a everybody goes around and shares some of their stories.
Yeah.
We
Oh
just
yeah.
did that with ghosts, where we had
Oh,
one where we had
Mhm.
a
okay.
psychic medium, a paranormal investigation team, and then ourselves, and we went around and shared kind of like our haunted life
Mhm.
stories.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really fun.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, we always just kind of hang out and talk because a lot of people likes to listen to other stories, and a lot of people is like in disbelief too as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hearing other people talking live about it, it kind of sets in like, oh, this stuff is real and
Yeah.
everything.
And
So
I think that's what is such a big problem, being conditioned of these things aren't out there. There's no such thing as ghosts. Your mind's playing tricks on you. I
yeah,
mean, I think I wrote down 11 of them that you would normally hear from a parent say, "Well, there's no such thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
Stop thinking like that. You're making yourself crazy." And then it happens, and then you wonder why it's such a traumatic encounter for some
Mhm.
people that
yeah,
they do not want to share it with anybody. So if you get them on your site and see that it's a safe place, people can um, ask ask questions. But we keep it to where there's no laughing, there's no memes, there's no
hmm,
all that stuff. And
yeah,
so we lost a lot of people in the crypto wrangler because of that. But I'm okay with that. So
Mhm. Yeah, we
yeah,
have
yeah,
a similar policy where,
yeah,
like, if somebody wants to share an experience like that, or there are witches in the broom closet, we can do straight audio, no video for them. Have a
yeah,
pseudonym if you want,
yeah,
and
yeah.
share your story. Like, the I totally understand, like,
Yeah.
protecting your, like, public image if
Hmm.
you feel the need to, but
It's
we
funny
have
I
ways.
did that. Yeah. Well, it's funny because when I was at CryptidCon 2 years ago, I had done my um, Cryptid Wrangler podcast at that time. I walked into the convention center and everybody's looking, oh, hey, there's the Cryptid Wrangler. And I'm going, no, I'm Dan. That was just a made up thing. And everywhere I would go, oh, you're the Cryptid Wrangler. Like, oh, God. So it's weird to see that. But yeah, you can start to see where people start putting you higher up
Yeah.
on reality pedestals, I guess.
Yeah, it gets weird.
It does. And that's kind of what another thing I did with the Cryptid Wrangler group was you start to see little things pick up where everybody wants to talk to you, or everybody wants to hear the story from you,
Mm-hmm.
and they build you up, and you're just going, um, I'm not up there, I'm down here with you. So
Mhm.
it's hard to do.
Yeah, the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it's people, they just I don't know, just I'm trying to think of how to say it, because it's like you're the governor or the
Yeah.
president.
They
Oh,
try to,
we'll work for you.
yeah, they try to put you on a pedestal because you are doing something they haven't done, or you've seen something that they haven't saw.
Yeah,
So they kind of put you up there like, oh, you're like a god or goddess or something because you done
yeah,
this and everything. And, you
yeah,
know, the thing is, everybody has to realize that you can do anything you want to do.
yep, yeah,
You just cannot be afraid to do it.
yeah,
Just say,
yeah. And that's a huge thing that, I mean, even to the kids anymore, like 15 to 18, 19,
hmm
they're so shut off by everything, and they think, oh, it's just AI, oh, it's just this, it's just this, it's just that.
yeah,
Well, there's your conditioning. Why are you saying that? You've got
yeah,
a spirit standing right in front of you. What are you going to do? Are you going to
exactly.
believe it, or are you going to go home, think you're
Mhm.
crazy, not tell anybody about it,
Oh,
stuff it down emotionally for,
hmm
10 years, and then you show up on the Cryptid Wrangler, you tell your story, and people are laughing emojis and stuff like that, they're gone.
Mhm.
yeah,
So we put our foot down. We won't allow that. Especially
We're the
if
same way in ours.
yeah,
Where we have being like somebody who's open about the occult practices on TikTok. I get people
yeah,
who are like witches aren't real and like these things aren't real,
yeah,
and then like you get Christians who go down the whole like thou shalt not suffer a witch to live
yeah,
thing, and like I'm over here like, bro, I'm a person. Like,
yeah,
uh, can I do like I don't think I've broached like some crazy supernatural power. Like
nah,
I'm over here, I see spirits. Like
yeah.
it's not the blessing you think it is.
No, that's true. Well, it's like with me, ADD. So you have a spectrum. There's
Mhm.
you know autism. There's ADD.
yeah,
And they're on completely two separate sides.
yeah,
Um, but because I have ADD, it's not that somebody sees these spirits that makes them any different than anybody else. They've
right,
just got
yeah,
that a little bit stronger pull
yeah,
to help out. Yeah. So
yeah. We all
a lot of
put the
kids,
pants on, the pants legs on the same time, or the
yeah,
same way. I mean, the
yeah, yeah,
put shoes on the same way. We
yeah,
don't. So yeah, we're just a human with just different beliefs and
Mhm.
interested in different views and
yeah.
everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just
Not at all.
makes you unique, makes you being you, and you know, everybody has to accept that for
Yeah,
who we are, what
yeah.
we are. So
Nobody's special. Nobody's
right,
better
Right.
than anybody else anywhere.
that's true.
If
That
you
I have
is
are,
a
correct.
I have
relationship
yet to
with
see you.
like
So,
the
but
the
yeah, no, it's
titles.
it's sad.
I hate
Yeah,
them so much. Like when people are like, "Oh, you're a psychic," and it's like I don't like I can't just summon dead people on speed dial. Like
yeah,
some people can. I real
yeah,
like it'd be really cool, but also like no, I just like they show up when they want to show up. They say what they
Yeah,
want to say, and
yeah. And we
yeah,
all have something to add to this world. You know, paranormal, cryptids, whatever. We all have our communities that we all work within, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
fun. But you know, it's not easy. It's expensive to do all this stuff, and
Yeah,
so
that's
we
true.
should give everybody a little bit of a chance to explain what they're good at and why they're good at it, and then leave it at that. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, we're going to end our
yeah,
podcast. Everybody subscribe, like, and share out.
definitely.
Find the Witch's Veil within the cauldron. Go to Daniel's groups listed down below. The absolute great
Down
groups.
here.
Yes,
Thank you.
and they really are. I mean, you will learn so much. They're clean
Yeah,
group. You know, no spam or nothing. So just the way a group should be.
yeah, yeah. And we had to get a ton of people to get rid of a bunch of people to just
Yeah.
get
Unfortunately,
the
yeah,
group back the way we had it, you know. So
yeah.
yeah, but
But until now, I'm gonna sign off.
okay.
Many blessings
Thank you,
to
by the way.
everyone. And Daniel, stick around for just a couple of minutes where
Sure,
we sign out.
no problem.